Hey there folks, how you doing today? Welcome back to the channel. Please bear with any background racket that you might hear out there. Also, the fan's going. I just turned off the AC because you can't hear over that thing in this little room. It's hot, y'all. I was going to do this a minute ago before I showered, but I was too gross and it was hot and sweaty, and I'm still hot and sweaty, but at least now I'm clean. Unfiltered, fans only content. One take, we're not doing any redos on this one. Put up a poll. Surprisingly, very few of you wanted to see my new purse. But most of you wanted the unfiltered fans only content. So for those of you that have never seen the unfiltered fans only content, this is something I do just for the folks that are loyal viewers of the channel. Kind of keep you up to speed on some stuff that's going on. It's raw, unedited footage. Tends to run a little long. I tend to ramble, etc., etc. If you're still watching, this is going to be really good here in a minute, though, because I'm going to talk about something that's going to pull on the old nostalgia strings for some of you folks. All right, for starters, this is not a safe and empty weapon. This, folks, this is an old steel Simonson toolbox from Chicago, Illinois. I'll put a close-up of that. You really can't see it anymore. It's kind of faded and wearing off. This is what it used to look like here. But this is an honest-to-goodness, made in America, probably by some poor union worker somewhere over by Chicago, old-school toolbox. I don't know how old this particular one is. I'm thinking probably 1980s, maybe a little before that, but it's got an interesting story. This toolbox, for as long as I can remember, was in the trunk of my dad's car. Yep, that's right. This guy with the red plaid pants and the combat boots sitting on the orange and gold Afghan. My dad, that was me. And I don't know where he got it from, but he had this old toolbox. And it used to have a red metal tray inside of it, and I think up in the tray he had some sockets, and down in the bottom he had wrenches and pliers and stuff. But anyway, he always had this toolbox in the back of his car. I remember it the entire time I was growing up. When I was old enough to drive and got my own automobile, I was forever stealing this box out of the back of my dad's car to work on something that was wrong with my 1976 Chevy Monte Carlo. One day my dad brought me the box full of old tools, handed it to me and said, "Put that in your trunk and leave it there." He gave it to me. It was so awesome. And obviously I still have it. Now, it doesn't look real great. I did scrub it down the other day, hit it with some rust converter, and repaint it as close to the original color as I could find, simply because here in the Houston area, if you have something that's metal that's scratched up, it's going to rust. And this box, for all the years that I've owned it, had never rusted, but alas, 5 years in Houston was enough to start rusting it. So I scrubbed it up, cleaned it up, painted it. Should be good to go now for a long time. And I'm going to show you what's inside of it, and we're going to talk about that. Set the stage for you. My son, last fall in November, killed his first deer, killed his first Barbary sheep. He shot them both with my Remington 700 ADL in 30-06. I talked about that here on the channel before. There's a picture from his hunt. 2 shots, 2 dead animals. Couldn't ask for more. I really was blown away that he just took to it as well as he did. That Christmas, as bad as it hurt, I gave him a rifle that I'd had since I was 20. And it's actually kind of funny because after the hunt, well, technically we were still hunting, but after he had killed his animals and we were out retrieving them, he laid the rifle on the toolbox of the truck, and in the process of pulling the animals up into the bed of the truck, the rifle got bumped, fell on a rock, and destroyed the Burris rifle scope that was on it. I'm sorry, it wasn't a burst. It was a Bushnell Banner rifle scope, 3x9x40. Standard minute of deer rifle scope. Fell right on a rock, killed the scope. The kid looked up at me like that, and I told him, I said, "You just killed my gun." And then I laughed at him. Then I gave him the gun for Christmas. But I couldn't give him the gun without a scope, so I actually put a brand new Vortex Viper, what was it, a 4x16x42 bullet drop compensating reticle scope with a parallax adjust. Nice scope. It was like a $400 scope. Put that on there for him, and now he's set for life if he takes care of it. So what I'm getting at is, you know, kids don't know what they want, but if you give them something that means something to you and you explain it to them that it means something to you, hopefully it'll mean something to them too, and somewhere down the line they can pass it on to somebody else, right? So I got to thinking, you know, my boy's driving now, he's got a job, he's a man, and when he needs a tool, he comes and he steals one of mine to get it. So I dug this box out the other day, I cleaned it up, I filled it full of tools now. It's a healthy mix of new and old tools, and there's a reason for that. I had originally planned to put some new tools in it, and then I said, well, no, I'll put my old tools in it, and I'll get me some new tools, and I'll give him the old ones. But some of my old tools I really like, so I just kind of messed around, and I'll show you what we've got here. Now this came from Hazard Fraught. This is a steel plate that's powder coated that has some of these little tracks on it to hold sockets. I figured that would be really nice for keeping his sockets organized. I'm a stickler for organized sockets. Got him a battery powered headlamp here for when he's working on his 20-something-year-old Dodge pickup. Got him a nice teardrop 1/4-inch drive ratchet, a 3/8 drive ratchet, some 3/8 deep well standard sockets, some 3/8 deep well metric sockets, one of those little multi screwdrivers, they tossed that in with the order, an old pair of needle nose pliers that are actually pretty good ones, a pair of Klein lineman's pliers. These are the ACSR cutters. I bought these years ago, back when I was actually, you know, doing legitimate work for a living. An honest to goodness pair of channel locks, an old pair of SK Wayne USA made slip joint pliers. They're nothing special, but they're rock solid. Some random nut drivers, a standard and a stubby set of metric and standard wrenches, and then a nice wobble extension set, some universal joints, and some of those socket adapters. What else? Oh, and a set of spark plug sockets. I guarantee you, speaking from past experience, you could pull a motor and transmission out of a Chevrolet with those, or a Dodge like he drives. So it's not an end-all be-all, but he's got everything here he needs to get off the side of the road in most circumstances. So I'm going to put all this stuff back in here now. By the time you see this video, it will be past his birthday, but for the moment, let's be quiet about it, because this is his birthday present this year. And then, just so he remembers his place in the world, we'll give him one of our channel logo stickers to go on the box. So let me know what you think about that. In this day and age, kids want video games, kids want to go to concerts, kids want trips with their friends. You could easily spend a couple $100 on that stuff. I easily spent a couple $100 on this, but I don't know. To me, it just makes more sense to give something that's long lasting and worthwhile. Let me know what you think about that. Let's see. Best dad joke I've heard here recently. Let's see. I'm going to ad lib it. It's really going to be terrible. Superman told Batman, hey, some folks were talking about you. They say you sound more like an owl than a bat. Batman's like, who? Who? About the time it dawned on him, Wonder Woman stepped in to save the day. Yeah, I botched the delivery, but it was funny to me, guys. Let's see. It's hot. It's super hot. Make sure your pets have water. If you're going out of town for the weekend or something, you know, leave a hose trickling somewhere that, so worst case scenario they can go drink from the hose and get some fresh water that way. But don't leave them with just like one container that out in the sun or something like that. You know, pets need hydration as much as we do. You go more than a day without it around here, you'll be in hard shape. Let's see, what else? There was something else I was going to talk to you about. Yes. I do not discuss my work on here often. That's for very good reason. But suffice it to say, because of my work, I got to tiptoe around in a minefield with anything that I do, and I have to get permission from Big Brother before I can do it. That being said, most of you people are aware that I have an ongoing relationship with Crimson Trace. Crimson Trace had mentioned to me last spring, they're like, hey, Crimson Trace belongs to American Outdoor Brands. American Outdoor Brands owns all of these brands. We would like for you to work with some of them too. I was like, well, I have to ask my uncle for permission. Not Uncle Elmer, Uncle Sam. I did. I got the permission. Took months, but I got it. It's over with now. So in the near future, you may see me reviewing some products from other companies besides Crimson Trace. Companies like, for instance, Caldwell. It's an American Outdoor Brand company, so it's probably where that came from. Anyway, permission has been granted. There's some other stuff coming down the pipe. In the very near future, we're monetizing the channel. That means you people are going to have to watch commercials to see this content.
Hi, it's Vince with ShamWow. You'll be saying wow every time you use this towel. It's like a chamois, it's like a towel, it's like a sponge.
I'm sorry, but it cost money to do almost everything that we do on here. This video right here cost time. It didn't cost me any money. But most of the content we produce, any of the reviews, any of the range sessions, anything firearm related costs money to produce. And for the past several years that I've been doing this, for the most part, I have footed the bill. Now, there have been colleagues of mine, friends that have loaned weapons for the productions, and I appreciate that. I'm still paying for ammunition, range fees, the time it takes to produce them, the editing. I pay a monthly fee for the editing service that I use, so there's that. I'm not looking to become a YouTube celebrity, but it would be really nice to be able to subsidize the cost of what I'm doing here with this. So in the near future, it's in the works. We're going to be monetizing this channel. I'm going to be forming something of an LLC for my barnyard studies or barnyards scenarios. Something like that. But anyway, it's going to be JLBS LLC, coming very soon to YouTube, Rumble, and maybe even some paper print if I can get anybody to buy an article. So that is coming. Just be well aware of it. Why? It's fair question. I am not right around the corner from retirement, but I'm pretty close to retirement. And by that, I mean less than a decade. You know, my youngest will be graduating in like 6 or 7 years. I'll be eligible to retire about that time. I'm not sticking around any longer than that. I'm going to go do the Lord's work, start a spit and whittle club, teach old ladies to paint watercolors. I want to be able to hear about a mission trip, jump on a plane, and go do it. I want to be able to hear about a church camp, commit to it for a month, and go do it. I want to be able to hear about we're building a house for some people, grab my tools, not these ones, but my tools, and go do it. I want to be able to do the Lord's work. I want to be able to work for something other than the machine. So that is coming in the very near future. And like I said, it's not next week, it's not next year, but it isn't that far out. We're talking about if I bought a new truck today, I would probably be paying it off about the time I retire. Scary stuff. So, for the position of monetizing my channel, growing the channel, establishing something here bigger than what I've had in the past is relevant, because Lord willing and the creek don't rise, I'll be able to step into retirement from my current job, step into some kind of industry related position. I'm very soon to obtain some certifications through Sonoran Desert Institute, and I want to be able to subsidize my retirement to the point of where I don't have to have a regular job beyond my retirement in order to do the things that I feel are more important than being a cog in the wheel of the machine, making YouTube videos, or golfing on the weekends. I need to do something substantial. And by something substantial, I mean, like I said, 3 times now already, the Lord's work. I make no bones about my faith on here. My faith is God takes care of me, and I do my best to take care of His mission on this earth while I'm here. And in as much that means I've got to do my part, and there's time and time again, I feel like I'm not doing my part. You know, up until recently, I was assisting with the ushering and securing at my local church. And with my present circumstance, my current condition, I can't even commit to that full time. I mean, it was sporadic that I could do it. And there's so much more. I'm grateful for everything that I have in life. I'm grateful for a good job, benefits, a retirement just around the corner. The lifestyle that it has afforded me throughout the years. I mean, I've got my own barn, for Pete's sake. But I feel like there's something missing, and so I am working towards that. So that is a really long-winded, beat around the bush way of saying I have taken the steps necessary to start making money doing what I'm doing here on YouTube. So be patient with that, and I will keep you up to speed as best I can. Projects we have coming right around the corner. The little Kel-Tec P17, whatever it is, that little 22 they have that's like $200 that holds 17 rounds. Got one of those coming to me as soon as I have time to do it. So it's going to be 2 or 3 weeks out. The Bull Armory SAS, we're going to be redoing the video on that That's the one that got me the channel strike from the tank division. But I've got it back here now. We're going to be redoing that video. I'm also going to be putting some speed parts on that pistol and reviewing it before and after. So stay tuned. That one's going to be really good. We've got 2 or 3 Crimson Trace videos coming up. I've already shot the range footage. I just don't have time. It's the busy time of year. If I'm not at work, and I've been working a lot of overtime lately, I'm tied up with the family. I'm fixing to be on my days off, and I have absolutely no way of touching anything related to my YouTube content on those days off, except for this fans only content here, which is why I'm really glad most of you wanted to see that instead of my new purse. My new purse is going to be one of the projects. That thing is really cool. I think it is going to be a must-have for some of you, certainly not all of you. It's going to be something really good. I'm excited about that video. So let's see, where are we at? Crimson Trace, the P17, the Bull Armory, my man purse, and oh yes, my buddy Pablito, Paul. My buddy Paul built a 300 PRC last year, completely total custom rifle. We're going to get a chance to look at that here on the channel too. So I'm really excited about some of the stuff coming up. Also, I don't think it's going to happen 2023, but as soon as 2024 rolls around, it's going to be my goal, my major achievement. 2024, that thing right out there, you see it right there, that big ugly FSJ, folks. We're going to bring it back to life. LS swap, complete build, chronicled here on the Tube of You for anybody that's interested in that kind of stuff. Some of you, like maybe 100 of you, may remember this series I did when I, with a little help from him, a Haynes manual, and other YouTubers, rebuilt the engine on my 2.3 liter dual overhead cam Ford Ranger in that very same spot where the Jeep sits right now. I rebuilt it in the dirt 2 years ago, folks. It can be done. My grandfather was a mechanic that laid on his back in the dirt on vehicles that were held up by cinder blocks his entire life. So it can be done. You don't have to have a big shop and fancy tools. We're going to document everything on the Jeep from start to finish. It's going to be right here on the channel, and I think some of you are going to enjoy that. So that's a 2024 project at this point. I'm pretty sure that's going to tie in heavily with monetizing the channel, establishing an LLC, being able to write off some of the associated costs with major projects that are coming in the future. So when you're talking to the big guy upstairs, say one for me. Until next time, take care. God bless.